publish him. But with Chiron gone, really the need for Assaracus just is magnified. In the pages of Assaracus, I've published kids from suburban or rural America who have to write in a pseudonym because they aren't out yet. Adults too aren't out, like their employers or whatever, and I'm fine with publishing people writing under pseudonyms. I've published writers who were in Mouth of the Dragon back in the early days. They haven't published since then because they said they haven't felt comfortable publishing anywhere. But they do have a place. They have a place with me. And with Assaracus, I try not to do much editing. I just want to give the poets the microphone and let them sing their songs. I don't care what they sing, I just want to hear it. And so far, what they've sung has been beautiful. So far, it's been incredible. Yale subscribed, Stanford subscribed, Cornell subscribed, University of Wisconsin. So we're really penetrating the market. And what's coming next, I hope, are college tours where we can do Assaracus readings. I'm applying for some grants to do that, and I think that would be really cool, especially with someplace like Rutgers, maybe, where Tyler Clementi we had that horrible suicide last year. Mm-hmm. So I think there's definitely a need on college campuses for readings like that. And I told you about Lady Business. We'll be accepting submissions through August 31st on that. So if anybody wants to send me stuff, send it on. And I will definitely take a look at it. And I hope to do more than one issue of Lady Business. I hope it's going to be a regular thing. So, now, there's been some criticism from within our community about why I want to set gay writing and lesbian writing apart. And let me be clear, we publish everybody. We publish books by people from different orientations, cultural backgrounds, disabilities, whatever. But for the journals, why do I want to specify gay poetry or lesbian poetry? The answer is another lesson. Because in order to set yourself apart, you really got to set yourself apart. First reason is purely marketing. What if you went to a grocery store and looking for a can or whatever, and there were no labels? How would you find what you were looking for? There are 50,000 books published in the U.S. every year alone, and that number is rising, especially with ebooks and self-publishing. How's your audience going to find you? All too often now, we're not going into bookstores. We're Googling things online. We're using keywords. We're using tags to find things. So you've got to let them be able to find you some way. That's not to say you should only categorize your work in one way, but including some specific labels will make sure your audience locates you. But for the LGBT community in particular, broadcasting that gay label has potential to do more than just boost your sales. It can save lives. Some of the criticism I've heard about labeling books as gay or lesbian specific, or labeling authors as gay or lesbian, is that we've reached a place of equality. You don't need to hear about coming out anymore. Most of this criticism has come from folks on the East Coast or the West Coast. But I'm from Arkansas. You guys are from Georgia. I mean, there's still people out there who are searching for their voice, who for whatever reason, for their own safety, they need somebody to be that voice for them. So I'm going to stick with publishing Assaracus and labeling as a journal of gay poetry as long as there might be that kid in Utah who needs some hope, who needs to see somebody like him. And maybe, just maybe, he'll pick up a pen and he'll start writing. He'll save a life himself. Maybe he'll change the world. Being involved in publishing is a lot like being on a reality show. It's a lot like being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Which me and my husband really like that show. We've been driving around looking for Nene and Kim. We haven't seen them. And when I say that around here, people roll their eyes. They're like, we don't like that. But look, it's entertaining, y'all, all right? It's actually more like being on Survivor. And the reason I say that is, in order to get to the end, it's another lesson. You've got to build your alliances carefully. Now, here, especially for me this year, the alliances I'm talking about are the first authors that I've published through Civil Novelty Press. The first offer I made went out on the spot at John Staley's Memorial to a kid named Ocean Vaughn. And this is his book right here, Burnings. He pitched his manuscript to me. I at the memorial. He was so passionate about his work. And I heard him read at the memorial and fell in love with his work. And I published him in Animated Unfinished. And what really blew me away about him is he is everywhere. He's working all the time. I randomly stopped by Poet's House in New York. The kid was there. He basically lives in Poet's House. I knew if I published a book by Ocean, it was like having a foot soldier in the ground in one of the major markets, if not the major market in the country, in New York. And he's just been an absolute pleasure to work with. Future Poet Laureate, that's what I say about Ocean. Mark my words. Second book I published was Raymond Luzak's Road Work Ahead. And Raymond was a different type of author than Ocean. He has been publishing for a long time. He's got over 10 books to his name, including Mute, which was just a fantastic book put out by Midsummer Night's Press last year. He has brought this wisdom and legitimacy to the press. Hold up his book too. He's also become a mentor and a friend to me. And he's deaf. And he'd be totally cool with me saying that here. That's how he markets himself. And his awareness of language is so different from my own. Because of that disability, it's not a disability to him, he takes it and runs with it. His poetry is just fantastic. And publishing somebody like Ocean and somebody like Raymond allowed me to really branch out and take a risk on the third book that we put out, Teresa Sinato Edwards, Voices Through Skin. And that's the first book that I accepted through submissions and just published her on just the strength of the work alone. And I took a risk publishing her, but you know, of the veteran, Raymond, and the foot soldier, Ocean, and then Teresa, guess who sold the most? It's Teresa. So that's been really cool to see. And it's her first book, so she's really excited about that. Now, earlier, I mentioned that we still have giants of the LGBT community, lyric community walking among us, and they'll give us advice if we'll just listen to them. And in May, I went down to Saints and Sinners in New Orleans and had the pleasure to speak with Felice Picano, who ran Seahorse. And I asked him, I said, you know, I've got this small press. What advice could you give me to be a success? And he looked at me and he said, Bryan, don't be stupid and greedy at the same time. You can be one or the other, but never both, because it'll sink you. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm going to tell some dirt on myself. We've got this anthology coming out in the fall, Collective Brightness, you're part of it, and it's got 108 poets in it. And they're from all around the world. It's edited by Kevin Simmons, and he's really done a fantastic job. But 108 poets all around the world. I'm thinking, that's going to cost a lot of money to send contributor copies out. So I told Kevin, I said, well, let's don't give them a free copy. Let's just tell them, we'll give them a discount. Now what's wrong with that? Two things are wrong with it. It's greedy, and it's stupid. And it didn't fly, and I reversed myself just that night. And I'll make a pledge right here, if you're ever in a Sidney Robert Press publication, you're going to get your contributor's copy and learn that lesson. And finally, the most important lesson of all, be thankful. And none of this is lost on me. Standing here in front of you, talking about this press, this was my dream. I used to put books together when I was a little boy. I never thought I'd be doing this, and more than anything, I never thought I'd be standing in front of a group of people and I'd be out and proud. Never thought that. I was the kid who would pray the gay away. I was a kid who carved crosses in the palm of my hand so I wouldn't have sinful thoughts about the boys who sit next to me in biology. I wrote love poems to the quarterbacks in my class and burned them before they saw the light of day. And here I am. And I have the ability to give other people opportunities to make their dreams come true. So none of it's lost on me. And I want to thank Colin. I want to thank everybody involved in this. I want to thank my wonderful husband who just has had to put up with so much. He doesn't see me anymore because I get home from the day job and get to work, work on these books. So he's had to put up with a lot. And I want to end with a poem that I think speaks on how I feel. It's called Grapes of Comfort. Feeding my husband grapes on a Sunday afternoon road trip. To my 16-year-old self who planned funerals instead of weddings, I want to show him this image, and tell him life will be sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.